Alrighty, I am guessing you are here because you read the title and you either 1, got offended, or 2, know you need some help. Either or is fine. The first step to the grieving process is acceptance. It is best to think about this game as a completely different experience to other Call of Duties. This isn't a Twitch shooter. This is unfortunately, this is a slowed down experience, and that brings me straight into topic number 1. You cannot play this game like an old COD. That's the main problem I've seen. That was my problem when I first started playing the beta, and after a couple hours I kind of adjusted. This is like if Siege and Modern Warfare 2019 had like a love child. It's different. Some people are going to like it, some people won't. I think the game would benefit a ton from a lot of the changes the community wants, but it's Activision. I guess we'll see when the game releases, but I don't expect much to change. So this is hopefully going to be pretty useful later on. I'm not making this in any particular order. Some people this will be beneficial to earlier on, some people will be later, some people will be in the middle. Some people may appreciate everything and benefit from everything. Some people won't benefit from anything, in which case you might not be bad at the game. Maybe you just need a new controller or something. First off, and the easiest thing is your settings. The biggest thing to me, especially if you're on console and you aren't really used to messing around with your FOV slider, change it. Change your FOV. If you're still playing a default FOV, you're going to be bad. If you're not bad with default FOV, you will be better with a higher FOV. I haven't met a single person who plays this game competitively or any type of ranked or anything, and not particularly this COD, but COD in general, since we've kind of made the switch, at a lower FOV. I hang around 98 to 100. That's what most pro players hang around at. That's where you're going to find the most success. It gives you a really good balance, especially if you're playing unaffected. It's going to help you out tremendously. Far too often when I see in kill cams or I'm spectating players that just simply aren't seeing people because they're not on their screen. I wouldn't go over 100 unless you're trying to make some content that looks all like whatever, or unless you're used to playing with a really high FOV in games. But if you're just switching up, try out 98, 100. This is also going to affect your sensitivity. Look into your sensitivity, check it, go in, get into a game and run around a bit. If you have an older COD, like if you have last year's COD, or if you have Cold War, or whatever, and you can change your FOV in there, change it on that and check it. The sensitivity is 1-to-1, so if you get used to whatever sensitivity of the game, switch it up, like run around in bots and figure it out from there. I personally put on 6.6. This is a little slow to some, this is a little fast to some. That's a good even ground for me. That works great for me. I don't know, it works great for a lot of pro players in general. Try that out and see how it feels. Alright, now we can get into actual gameplay. So the biggest key for me, at least, was learning how to slow down. This game, like I mentioned earlier, isn't a Twitch shooter anymore. This plays more like a high stakes shooter where you're walking a lot and you're ADSing a lot and you're slowing down. So instead of running into a building, slowly walk in, hold down your ADS. It sounds boring. It is kind of boring, but you can be good rushing. It's just a lot more difficult in this game. So if you're having trouble doing some of that stuff, switch it up. That may not be your cup of tea. This Call of Duty might not be your cup of tea, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying my best to think more, but we'll get into that in the next one. Using your brain is going to be incredibly important in this game. With the TTK being this unforgiving, if you are caught in bad positioning, you're gonna die. There's no get out of jail free cards here. You can't just run out in the open and not get killed. Now, what the fast TTK does do is it does give you get out of jail free cards, in the sense that if you are getting shot at by someone who doesn't have really good aim and you turn, you can kill them in about a second. Unfortunately, if that person has good aim and you're getting shot on the back in this game, you're gonna die. Check your corners. Slow down, like I said earlier. Slow down. If it's the opening break of a match, as you're gonna see on the video that I'm putting up right now, don't run into the middle of an open lane. It's just gonna get you killed. There's gonna be somebody sitting on the end of that, ready for you, mounted somewhere. Don't do it. Next, one of the most important things to do: turn your headphones up. I like to play Call of Duty with my earbuds in. Even last year, I was grinding out ranked with my earbuds in when I was playing solo, and doing a great job, because sound didn't matter. As long as you could see your mini-map, which is another problem this year, as long as you could see your mini-map and see where people were shooting, and you had your earbuds in, hearing people, unless it was S&D, but hearing people wasn't a big deal, especially with Ninja and Dead Silence working properly. This year, you have to turn your headset up. I have mine cranked almost maxed when I'm playing, and you can pretty much figure out where somebody is across the map from you. Until they tone the footsteps down, which I'm not actually confident they're going to do, this is going to be important. Listen. If you're coming to like a corner, stop before you get there and just listen. If you're walking into a building, be mindful that your footsteps are loud. Even if you're walking, aim walk, ADS, crouch, something. As long as you are not making a lot of noise, what I found is a lot of people are relying on that. So when you have Ghost, and then you have Dead Silence on, you're going to get a ton of free kills because people are waiting to hear you and they're waiting to see you on the minimap. This year is going to be really weird, and the ebbs and flow of the game are going to change a lot. You just kind of have to adapt to it. That's a big adaptation, is just using your ears. Speaking about Ghost, pick your perk pack wisely. I don't like the perk pack system. I think it's ridiculous. I feel like it takes away from your choice as a gamer, and I don't like any of my choices being taken away. Now I kind of have to play by more rules. It bothers me a bit, but you got to do what you got to do. Pick your perk pack wisely. I do not play a game on here without Ghost. UAVs are too easy to get. There's a UAV up on both teams, especially in 6v6. There's going to be a UAV up 90% of the match. And if somebody can see where you are on the map, and they can hear you the way they hear you on this game, the likelihood of you dying is going to be astronomical in comparison to either one, having Dead Silence, and two, having your UAV up. So that's what I run. You can run whatever you like. Just be aware that it's incredibly important to utilize your perks on this game. I don't know what you're doing if you're not using Ghost, but you may have a different playstyle than me. That's fine. Just be mindful. And lastly, be more aware of your game mechanics. Older Call of Duties you can get on, you can make a class, you can run out and just play it. Black Ops 2, you had like a shock charge, but it was like you got hit with a shock charge once and you knew what was going on. Semtex, Bouncing Betty, you got killed by a Bouncing Betty once. Now you know to crouch or lay down whenever you hear it. Now things are a little bit more complicated. You have grenades that go through walls. You got another shock stick that makes you shoot. It's a very complicated game in comparison to a lot of the stuff we usually play from Call of Duty. Be aware of everything. Dig in and really mess around with your classes. Get in and shoot guns against the wall. See what the recoil looks like. Listen to the sounds. Check how long it takes to reload. Unfortunately, we don't have a reload cancel. So if you hit X, and which I did on a pretty fat streak earlier in S&D actually, I hit X, couldn't reload cancel, and it got me killed because once you hit X now to reload, you're pretty much stuck in stone. I know there's some ways I've seen people get around it, but for the most part, if they want it to stop, they will make sure it's not going to be possible when the actual game comes out. So just get in and experiment. Play around a little, and then dial in and focus on what you want to be good at. I think another big issue people run into, and what I used to fall into the trap of, and this is Call of Duty period, is trying to be good at everything. Some people aren't going to be good at things. I'm a way better AR than I am a sub. No matter how hard I try, I am just not as good with sub as I am with AR. If you look at the CDL and you look at the Pro League, those are some of the best players in the world, and some of them, if you put a sub in their hands, they're not going to be able to keep up with their peers. Some people are just not as good with the opposite weapon as the other. Once the game actually comes out, we can pay attention to meta and what classes are going to look like for the competitive scene, and that's going to be that's going to reduce some of the effects of the complicated gunsmith and perk system. I'm hoping there's a ranked when the game drops and we can kind of get in and feel a bit more accustomed to what we're playing. But regardless, the key this year is to adapt. Find your niche and get good at it. That's pretty much the last bit that I can offer up. I'm sure there's a ton of things that I missed, and there's really in-depth things that you can do. But for the most part, at a surface level, I think you'll improve if you do at least a couple of the things on there. At the very minimum, slow down. That's the biggest key this year to me, is slow down. But other than that, I'm pretty sure that's about it. To wrap this up, I want you all to post any suggestions you have in the comments. If you feel like any of this will help you or has helped you or is going to help you, let me know. If you like this type of content, let me know. I'm trying my best to learn from my mistakes on here and to get better, and I'm trying to show improvement every time out. So if anything needs to switch up, let me know. But outside of that, I'll see you all later.